With both of us drinking coffee.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, but usually when we have coffee, we go straight to 100. So we're going to start kind of, I'm holding back, and we're going to start kind of low key, kind of like, hey man, what's been going on? Chill. But by the end, it could be like, a mile a minute, and we don't know what's going to happen. So apologies now, but yay for episode 11. 1-1.
This is going to be a great one with all of our TV shows that we're watching and got back into.
And fun fact before I get into it, I had heard, my husband was reading up about stuff and they're talking about podcasts and how most people will stop doing them because they get bored or they feel like it's too much work. And the average is 7 episodes.
So we're almost to half of that.
I mean, like, that's crazy. Like, 7 is nothing. 7 is absolutely nothing. And we've been just kind of, I mean, Graham, we don't do shit. We just literally record us talking, and then that's it. Like, that's...
So hopefully we didn't lose a lot of people.
No, but I'm saying, like, it doesn't feel like a lot of work. Like, 7 episodes, gone. Like, we're already to 11, and we're still like, whatever, man. Like, we're just gonna show up, drink some fucking coffee, and, like, talk about shit. Like, that's... it's awesome. I enjoy it. So yay for episode 11 for me.
Yeah, and yay for you guys for listening.
Yes.
We appreciate you greatly. And still all the awesome support and messages that you guys have been sending out. So thanks. Kudos to you.
For the support. Like a bra.
Thanks for being my Wonder Bra.
Thanks for being our bra bros.
Now that I just said Wonder Bra, I feel like I want to sing Oasis.
No.
You're my Wonder Bra.
Can we like coin something for the followers and be like, because there's supporters and it's like the Geek Bra? I don't know. We have to think something. Do you even response bra?
The geeks. That's great. But we should do Geeks and Garters because it's Geeks and Garters.
Because Garters hold
This is amazing. Full circle.
So not being our support bras, but being our support garters. Technically, those stop your leggings from going down. And it's closer to your loins, so it depends on where you want. Do you want to be closer to our hearts via bra? Oh, wait, you know what? This is going down a dark path. So I already apologize. Again, morning coffee. Fuck.
I was about to say, I don't know, but I'm just
laughing.
trying to laugh in my niffler, and that's something.
She is actually laughing in her niffler.
So if you guys could see him.
She's putting it to the mic. We really should start doing video at this point because then people would understand what the fuck is going on. Because she was smashing the niffler in her face, and that's when I was like, oh no, I've gone too far. Like, just looking at her face.
I'm letting this go wherever it's gonna go. Yeah. We're hiding.
She's crossing her fingers, going, I'm gonna let this happen, even if I regret it. At least I know, like. I feel like in a situation with disaster or whatever, say I stepped into quicksand. You're going to go, I'm just going to let this go.
Betray you!
I feel like, well, I guess that's more like that. Because I was going to go with, like, you were like, I'm going to see where this goes. And then where I'm like, almost done.
I would be in there with you trying to pull you out.
Like
going, betray you!
Why am I the horse?
You just said you went into quicksand. I didn't say I was going into quicksand.
Well, I just thought it would be like, you're like, I'm going to let this happen and we'll let it go. But then, like, towards the end, you would always pull me out. Like, like you're like, oh, you would let me. Well, no, I don't think you would no, you would. You would let me foot and mouth for a little bit. And then you go,
just a tiny bit.
Like, if I was sitting there, like, making an ass out of myself to a stranger, you would then come out and be like, oh, she has problems. Like, oh, I'm here to take you back to the home. Like, you would, like, be embarrassing, but save me from it. Like, oh, you found her. Yeah, she doesn't know where she is. And then I would play along going, what? Like, I don't know, something.
Do I get the new fortune cookie? Come on, Bridget.
Where are we? Oh my god.
Well, so, on that note, for 5 minutes of just ranting about coffee.
Fucking morning coffee.
Yes. Coffee makes us awesome, so that's all you need to know about that.
No, one other thing they need to know about coffee is Jenna has the fucking most ridiculous mugs. It's so big, I could literally drown in it.
It's
like,
a BB-8 cup.
I can put my face in it.
You actually can.
Like, my chin and nose fit, so if this was full of coffee, I could drown myself. Why? It's so much.
I just liked that it had BB-8 on it.
You won't have any room in your coffee cabinet. Your mugs. Like, there's no room.
So I actually have been on Pinterest finding all of the cute ones that hang up on the walls and then you hang the cups. That thing probably would take that thing down.
Yeah, fucking would.
I would try and hang it and it'd be like, break the whole wall.
Jesus. You need to get, like, cute, like, what's the word? Quaint. Cute, quaint.
Next time I'm giving you
cool
cute
whips.
Cool whip.
Cool whip.
Now say cool.
Cool.
Now say whip.
Whip.
Now say cool whip.
Cool whip.
That's my favorite one.
Obviously, coffee's kicked in. All right, so why don't you explain to
these lovely
listeners, these lovely garters, I don't know, fuck it, we're just going to go with it. Why don't you explain what we're actually talking about today?
Like I had mentioned before, both Bridget and myself have been getting sucked back into TV shows. No more coffee for her.
No, it's funny because she said sucked, and you'll understand why. Continue.
Really?
Because you said sucked, and it's look at the theme.
You're right.
Right?
I totally planned that.
No, she had no idea. All right, so we got sucked into... That sounds horrible.
TV shows. No, it didn't sound horrible because it's totally fine. So we actually got sucked back into 2 TV shows that we were watching ages ago. And I watched this one like 10 years ago.
Now, I don't know how it actually came up. I feel like we were talking about the one I was talking about last week. And I think that kind of like sparked my fire for that.
It wasn't just last week.
We've been
dancing around it. Same thing with Lost Boys. Same thing with
like
Goonies.
Goddamn Lost Boys.
She hates Lost Boys, and I keep bringing it up. She just doesn't like me.
Okay, so I know before we jump into that, so I had to go and shoot a family.
Not liking me?
No, I had to shoot a family session, and it's a friend of mine, and we were getting on a nostalgia train and talking about 80s movies, and we were talking about something, and he goes, "Oh my god, have you seen Lost Boys?" And I just wanted to be like, "Motherfucker, why does this keep popping up? Why does everyone keep saying?" It's not that I don't like the movie, but it's literally like getting shoved in my face every time it comes up. I'm like, "Oh yeah, Lost," and they're like, "Lost Boys." It's like, oh my gosh, I'll make, oh my god, 80s nostalgia, and someone comes up with a baseball bat and screams "Lost Boys" in my face and hits me. Like, that's what it feels like. I'm like, "Lost Boys," whack. I'm like, fucking A, like every time.
That's amazing.
All right, so continue on. So yes, we kind of been dancing around the subject, and we ended up getting back into TV shows. And the theme today and the TV shows today are vampire themed.
Yes. So back in the day, we had a ton of TV shows, movies, just everybody was on this vampire kick. And
I was all about it.
Yep, I was all about it. And honestly, I was talking to Steve the other day, and if I got to pick what mystical character I would be, I literally would be a vampire. Reasoning being, they are super old. They're always classy as fuck. Usually. They're always rich.
Sure, depending on the genre.
Okay, so I'm going like Twilight, Vamp Diet. Well, because again, I'm not.
Interview with Vampire. Very classy.
Very classy.
Pinky fucking out.
Yeah.
But there are some like slummy ones in Buffy, and Lost Boys are kind of slummy.
Yeah, they're really, really slummy.
Yeah. They live under a fucking bridge, don't they?
No, they live in a cave.
Oh.
And they went to the point where they actually sleep upside down, like bats.
Oh, yeah!
And then they're sleeping and...
That reminds me of a thing, and there was a saying in Scrubs, and it was one of my favorites. It was talking about Dr. Cox's wife, and they were saying something about his ex-wife and saying like, "Oh, do you like cuddling with her at night?" And he's like, "That's impossible because she sleeps cocooned in her own wings, like on the ceiling." And I just remember that sticking with me, and I thought that was hilarious. I forgot that they actually had them upside down.
Yeah, upside down.
That's probably the most bat-like, I'd say.
Yeah, that's probably the most. Yeah, I've never seen, because usually they're either in a crypt.
We should totally go through like the inner workings of vampire and like what works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
That actually vampires popped into my D&D game.
Really?
Two sessions ago.
Actually,
so it's we should all about it right now. This is the vampire episode.
Yeah. Yeah, instead of the coffee episode,
and
this
we're
is the
in the
vampire.
morning. Like more talking about vampires, and it's the morning. Technically they're asleep now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So honestly, like they always have really awesome stuff. Their houses are always amazing. They're always super classy. They get to do that mine thing.
They get to
run really fast. They run for they run forever.
They get to live forever. They're
run, jump. I can be your backpack while you run.
What about, I would say as far as genre-wise, like most of the time they are superhuman strength. They are stronger.
Yeah, and then I always love, because when they get mad, it always goes really fast and then they slam somebody against the wall.
Oh yeah, classic.
And they always do that. Yeah.
Classic.
Now, we can also go into, like later on, we could probably put like what our favorite like mystical characters are and why. Because there's some that have like the veiny stuff that goes on the face, their eyes turn red.
Oh, vampire-wise?
So vampire, we can do a couple of different ones.
So you would rather, as far as like being drawn to the vampire genre, you're saying, you know, instead of werewolf or whatever, you would prefer vampire.
Being a vampire.
But even in like the TV shows that we've been watching, you would still want to be the vampire, not necessarily the person that lives in that world.
Oh yeah, like I said, I want to be a vampire. If I had to pick to be a mystical character out of all the mystical characters, vampire, I think, trumps all of them.
Now, outside of living forever, being strong, growing at people, you do have to have, like, well, you don't necessarily have to have a tortured soul, but in my genre of vampires, that does pop up.
They do have that in Vampire Diaries as well, because they are fine, and then they live so long, and then a lot of them, like in Vampire Diaries, some of them have gone to the extent where they turn their humanity off and they just go to a binge and just fucking kill people.
Yeah.
But then there's also where they have emotions, they bring that back, and they've pulled, like one of them doesn't eat people. He only drinks like animal blood. And so he's not as strong, but he's trying to live amongst the humans. But then the other problem is that now you have, you know, a love story going on, but then he can't be with them because she's gonna be fucking wrinkly and old, and he's still gonna be with her. Like,
I feel like that's always like a classic, is the vampire love story kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's essentially like the TV shows we ended up getting sucked back into. Is she started watching Vampire Diaries again, and then I started watching Buffy again, because I think I mentioned it in the last podcast, and I'm like,
a couple of podcasts.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? It's been a very long time since I've seen it. And I have all the DVDs, so I actually started pulling them out a few weeks ago.
What's a DVD?
Yeah, right?
Just kidding.
Well, honestly, like, the funny thing is it ended up being so annoying because, well, granted, here's my problem. I feel like when we start rewatching stuff, you always yell at me because I am indeed doing it wrong. Because I love Buffy. The reason for it, though, is I love Spike. Let's not lie.
She's mentioned it multiple times.
Obsessed. Like, oh, God. So when I was going through and I was starting to watch Buffy, and I wanted to actually watch every single episode and try to experience kind of like how I did when it was on TV running. The problem that happened is season 2, episode School Hard, Spike rolls into town, and I'm like, and I forgot my love and how much, like, oh my God, how much I loved him. And I literally just started fixating on that storyline, and then I started jumping episodes. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going through. Fast forward to season fucking 7, because that's what happened. I went through and just followed Spike. I'm like, okay, like, I know that story so well, but now I don't know how it really got from here to there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I really need to go right back to where I started, stop myself, and go through every episode, and I don't think I am capable of binge watching without skipping. So I need to, like, my husband and I have been talking about making a TV guide. And, like, setting up going Tuesdays are Buffy, Wednesday is, like, Star Trek or whatever, but we have to make it so we only watch one episode a night and kind of force it to run like it was on TV. Otherwise...
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Either doing one episode a night or one episode a week, and, like, rerunning it like that to kind of, like... Because you watch the show, you have a whole week to kind of digest what you saw. You get the hype because you're excited for the next episode, you know, for a week... But then here you just binge and you go right through, and the next thing you know, you go from episode, you know, season 2 to season 7. And
like what I did. So last night I was supposed to go.
How many episodes last night?
So I went.
This is like AA.
Yeah, this is definitely makes me feel bad about myself. Not. So I started watching Vampire Diaries because somebody had mentioned it, and I was like, man,
I want to make fun of you so much, but like I know if I started watching it, I would be stuck in it.
Oh my gosh. When you start, you're like, oh man, because Damon is kind of like Spike.
Yeah.
And so he's that tortured soul, like you had said.
Well, Spike's not a tortured soul. This is good. That's Angel. I mean, Spike eventually. I mean, if we're gonna get into nuances, then we'll talk about that. But we're not gonna like. We'll do
that for the next season or the next episode. Yeah, we won't. Bring it for the next episode. Hold up. Hey. This is horrible. Who gave me coffee? Myself. I made it myself. It was your idea. So
tortured soul. Damon.
Damon's very tortured. Stefan is also tortured. But he's that I only drink animal blood. He's that I want to be with you.
Okay.
And he's all like, I will do anything for Elena. And then Damon's all like, I'm gonna fuck everything up. But he's also in love with somebody. Yeah. But he's trying to so he's doing everything for himself.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I started watching it because I was like, oh, I wonder what this episode looks like. All of a sudden, I think this was, what day was it? Maybe like Friday night. I think it was Friday night. I just sat and watched like literally episode after episode, and now I was in episode 10
of the first season
just on Friday.
And those are an hour long.
They're about 40 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
45. So then I'm like, okay, so last night I was like, man, we were talking about it at, like we were out with my sister and then I was like, you know what, I really want to watch Vampire Diaries because I want to see what happens.
But like, isn't it funny? Like you're almost like, you're out and you're hanging with friends, but you're like, I'd rather be home.
Yeah.
Fucking watching
Well,
this.
I either be watching TV or I'd rather be watching World of Warcraft or playing World of Warcraft. So I'm like...
There's times where I'd be daydreaming about the storyline. Like, I'd be working and I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to go home and watch. And that's how I felt. Binge watch.
Yeah, because that's how I felt because I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, we just ended at a weird spot. If you know what I mean.
Like a cliffhanger part.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, I can't remember how they get Catherine and all this other stuff. So I'm like sitting there... and I'm like, okay, let's go home. And then so we sat and started watching it on, get this, even better, because we were so lazy and we didn't want to go downstairs and watch TV. I didn't have my Kindle charged.
You did it on your fucking phone.
And so he was holding it up on his iPhone the whole night. We got through like 4 episodes. So it was literally like 10 o'clock or so when we got home. We got all the way to 12:45 is when we stopped, and I was like, we need to go to bed. I was going to go to bar class this morning, and then we had this podcast, and I was like...
You would have been a vampire. You would have slept all day, and then you could start watching at night. I think... That's the thing is, I wonder if like you're binge watching like that, if it kind of... Because I went through that with Buffy, and then I kind of convoluted the story and couldn't remember what actually happened and like when it happened. So I do feel like I have to almost go through it and force myself to do the TV guide kind of thing. Because otherwise I just go right through it. I rush through it. Because we get information so quickly nowadays. So why not just do that with your TV?
Yeah.
And that's great, but then I'm like, did I really experience it? So I want to like really pull it back and go, hey, bitch, you're going to do 1 episode a week. Which I don't know if I actually can do that. But
I was going to say, it's a nice thought, but I would totally do like 2 episodes a night. But I'd still be like, this is only Buffy. This is only... That's a great idea.
Or it's like maybe, depending on how you want to do it, like it's more of like, yes, you have an episode a night or 2 episodes a night, but maybe it's like Tuesday night is Buffy and then you watch Star Trek. So you're you know, you have more than one show that you're watching, one storyline that you're watching, so you don't feel like you have to sit there and go, oh, I'm going to watch Buffy all day, every day from start to finish. Which I fucking did.
Which I do.
which I fucking did.
Which I am.
But the thing is, for me, is like...
I'm still trying to figure out how I can fit World of Warcraft in today and Vampire Diaries. So we actually talked about mounting our TV up here.
You know, we have that at our command center. We have that set up, but it's hard because...
Stop!
Yeah.
Did you just say command center?
We call it command center.
Hold on. So my sister went on this date with this guy. She's going to be so mad at me for talking about this. But she pulled me along and Steve along. And
shame. On a first?
Well, actually, we met this guy when my sister and I were hanging out at a hotel together. Okay. So it was like a girl weekend.
Yeah.
And she met this guy, and we were talking, and I thought he was cool. So did she.
Oh, no.
But I think he was just really drunk.
Oh, no.
And so we're like, you should come hang out with us. So all he wanted to do is talk about his, like, he's like, I didn't bring it today, but I wear fanny packs. But they're really called command centers because I have everything in them. And we're just like busting up laughing.
It's called a utility belt. It's not a command
Oh, that's
center.
even better.
Yeah, fanny pack, that's a utility belt.
So I have to show you because there's this utility belt
yes.
that I really want to get, and I actually want to start rocking one.
Dude, so yeah, fanny
but
packs
it goes
right.
through your belt loops.
Well, so I used to, so when I was shooting weddings, because we have to carry so much shit on us.
Yes.
At first I had, before I started carrying my purse and like backpacks, I would make a utility belt.
It's
I'd
amazing.
have my belt, but I need like the card holders, I'd like clip it to my belt. So, and I was joking with my boss, I was going to buy a Batman, a yellow
I was going to say, why are we not doing a Batman one?
I was going to do a yellow obnoxious Batman fucking belt, and I was going to wear it to weddings. I'm like, oh, it's my fucking, because it'll hold all my stuff. I haven't done it, obviously, because people are like, what the fuck?
No, they wouldn't. That is amazing.
Well,
because
I mean,
those are something like,
I have to look very professional for some stuff. But, I mean,
I'd be like, dude, my photographer is so cool. She wore a fucking Batman utility belt.
But it'd have to be, for me, it'd have to be stealth mode. Like, it would have to be black. It couldn't be, like, a bright yellow for me. Because, like, I have to make sure, like, draw attention.
Gosh, if you wore, like, a black dress with an awesome Batman yellow.
Fucking utility belt.
Yeah.
Actually, so I traded the utility belt in. I have what I call now, when I shoot weddings, I have like a crossbody, and I call it my adventuring satchel. So I have my adventuring satchel, and I have all my stuff in it. I was like, hold on, I have this. And I'll pack all kinds of shit. And I'll, more than just stuff camera equipment. So if everyone needs, bobby pins, or
that's
shout,
great.
like shout, like, I have this, here you go, tampons, here you go, like all this kind of stuff. We digress.
Felt like that voice was from Jumanji.
Oh,
Welcome to Jumanji.
Have you seen Flight of the Conchords?
No.
That guy is in there. What's his name? Shit. Because Mark,
the guy who's driving, Nigel?
Yes, Nigel. But he's in there, and I fucking love him. He's also doing the voice of the guy in Voltron. Princess Allura. I can't think of his name. Shit. But he's redheaded, and he's got the mustache. But he's in Flight of the Conchords, and there's this part that Mark and I love, and it's when he's quitting. Because they, like, his car gets, like, put into a pool or something, and he never swears, and I can't remember what his name was, but he's like, I'm so mad at you, I could swear at you. And like, oh, no, you wouldn't do that. No, we're sorry. And he's like, go fuck yourself, Brett. It's hilarious. I have to find it and show you, but
well, YouTube
I need to actually watch that. I need to start watching that show from start to finish, because it's really funny. They did speaking of vampires, they did a mockumentary of vampires. Like, they all are New Zealand, but they have, like, them sharing a house. It's really funny. You would love it. But they're, like, it's fucking hilarious. You have to watch that one. But, yeah, anyway, so yes, no,
vampires.
Well, let's go backwards. Utility belt, fanny pack. No, it's not a command center. It's a utility belt. Command center is your computers with the whole set, like your heart of your house. We have a command center. It's our computer setup, and we have a TV. So we have that so we can watch TV and play games or watch Hulu. Or Netflix, but it is difficult and kind of a sensory overload.
I was going to say, because I want to be very into watching the TV show.
Yeah.
But I really want to play World of Warcraft. So I feel like I would miss out on something.
I would say it's good if you're playing something that is just like background. If you're fishing or farming or doing something in the game that's kind of just, you're not really paying attention and you want something just listening in, that would be fine. Or if you're streaming podcasts or Twitch, it's great. We also have it because there's times where Mark's playing and I'm not. So I'll watch TV like on our little futon couch area and he'll be playing games.
Oh, okay.
Or I actually hooked up my PlayStation 3 to it. So I'll play my console games while he's playing that. But that's
a great idea.
You need to get your PlayStation 2 because my PlayStation 3 sounds like a jet engine.
Oh, let me know. Loud. Yeah. Because I have it downstairs and we'll see. I don't have a controller.
I do.
But if you have a controller or if we want to go to Bookman's,
I'll
totally go with you. I hope it still works. It's moved with me tons of places.
I mean, worst case, I probably could buy a new one or old one. But yeah, so we have that. I don't think I could watch Buffy and play. Yeah. It's too much. And especially that's why I was thinking almost pushing myself to slow myself down and doing the TV guide thing and forcing myself to do one a week or one a day. I think that will give me more of the experience that I had watching it the first time. And going back through watching it from season 1, instantly like pulls me back to when I was watching it when I was in high school. So I'm like going through the outfits. I'm like, oh my god, so cute. I'm finding myself looking for outfits online. I'm finding myself rebuying like the earrings that I used to have. I bought a blonde wig.
But I think it looks great.
It does, right? I like to play with wigs because they're a lot of fun. But the blonde one it's not Buffy blonde, but it's cute.
It's not Buffy blonde, but I think it is almost like her hair like style too.
It's cute. And then the fun thing is it's like I wanted to try it out. And then I'm like, oh, for Halloween, I could do that. Like, I could pull off. I got this in, like, a long one for Wonder Woman.
Black one?
Yeah, long. So I have those.
Remind me, I have one that I can give to you.
Okay.
Because it just doesn't look right on me. Because I don't know.
The roots?
I don't know.
Well, you have blue hair, so.
Well, that too, but it's a brown one. And I just don't think it, like, fits me. So I was going to try and buy a new one.
Okay.
Or something else. Which is worse because I buy wigs and they're just colored. Like I have pink one and I have like so then I feel like people are like, oh man, she just is wearing a wig. She would never actually dye her hair, and I'm like, no, like I actually have blue hair.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like I think it's fine because then you're not wanting to sit there and change your hair to pink for a week.
Yeah,
like it's easier.
Then
to
I can
just
hey,
I feel
on a wig.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I feel like pink. And for me, like how I did it, especially with like
I
the
really
blonde,
want a blonde one. But
I
can't find
blonde in years,
and I can't find one like I like this color. That's why I asked you but I don't know if the roots would be funny because I have blue hair.
Blue hair, yeah.
So that's why I'm like trying to find a blonde wig or a platinum blonde wig that I can try.
The hard part is with me, like why it's working for me is because no matter what, because I'm brunette, but like my roots are grown out, so everything I'm buying has like the grown out kind of roots,
which I love
because then it looks more realistic.
Yeah.
But I do it because then I see if it could actually work. So I'm like, when I put this one on, I was like, oh my god, I could actually put blonde in my hair permanently and it would look okay. Yeah. But I would never have expected that without trying the wig first. Speaking of temporary stuff, I found a shout out. I found I think it's called Inkbox. I saw an ad on Instagram and it's temporary tattoos like henna.
I actually saw that too. Yes. I want to do that.
but it's I'm like, oh my god, how much fun, because I used to always like put tattoos on myself in like middle school with like the jelly pens. But I was like, that's so cool because then you can have it, and if you wanted to, put a sleeve on for a couple weeks, you could, or like, because Mark doesn't want me to have any more, but I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool to have. And I liked when we played with henna. I thought that was a lot of fun.
That I remember that. Yeah, that's so fun.
I like the idea of like the wigs and stuff. You can have fun. You can play with that stuff. I don't have to necessarily grow my hair out if I didn't want to. I don't have to change it blonde, but if I feel like wearing it, like to put this on this morning. Because my underneath, it's a fucking mess. Yeah, I had to wash mine yesterday because I was like, this is not good. Yeah, it was gross. For me to just go, hey, I'm just going to head over, I'm going to throw a wig on and it looks fine. Fuck it, don't even care. Like, it's awesome. It saves me so much time in the morning. I love it. So yeah, I do have it to potentially. 1, because I thought it'd be fun. Halloween. 2, I could use it for Halloween for Buffy.
Yep, I think that'll be great. And I know that you mentioned that party on Wayne's World. I'll get my brown one.
Excellent. Ew. Okay. Party on Garth. Party on Wayne. I had because I have those giant glasses. I had them on yesterday. I was like, holy fuck, I could totally do this.
That's amazing. So, oh my god, I want to watch that now too. You mentioned something with like how you were. It was bringing you back to how you felt in high school. Yeah. So that was one of the things that I wanted to touch base on because I like the emotional like things from TV shows. Yeah. So with like Vampire Diaries, I'm not necessarily in the same emotional place that I was when I first started watching it. Mm-hmm. So now I feel like I'm picking up new stuff. Like I'm seeing it from a different viewpoint. Because before I felt like
different phase of your life.
Yeah, because I was in that, and I was younger, and then I was, oh, I want that relationship, or oh, I want the da-da-da. And now I'm watching it and I'm like, oh man, what a jerk. Like, oh, look at this person. And like, so it's completely different from when I watched it from the beginning.
I do think that there is something to that, because when you're watching a show and you're somewhere in your life, whether it's like you're down, you're up, whatever it is, like I think when you're watching shows like that, you are going to pick up on the stuff that you really want to connect to. Mm-hmm. So like when I was watching Buffy back in the day, I actually had shit happen while that show was running that I pulled from. Like we talked about this before, that I think word for word I had given a speech to kind of break up with somebody. But like going, Yay, thanks, Buff. But stuff like that, it's like going through it now, and you're kind of taking a step out. You kind of just start seeing other things that pull at you from the show that you didn't notice before. Because another reason why I think that people should kind of hit the pause button on binging is my example with Spike. I go to that storyline and I just get in there. Like, I get in there deep, and I just kind of whatever horse blinder everything else in the show. So, and that's why I'm like, I gotta step back and watch it again, but not focus so much on Spike and Buffy and kind of see the other things. Because now it's like I might go through and really connect with things that are happening with Xander now. Yeah. Or like the whole Xander Anya thing. Because I've missed little nuances of their relationship because I was just tuning in to watch what was going to happen with Spike and Buffy, which I'm sure a lot of people were at the time. But now it's just like, now kind of taking a step back and watching it as an adult versus watching it as an adolescent, you definitely get pulled in and pick up on other things that you normally wouldn't.
Yes.
So I definitely agree with that. And that's kind of like what we were talking about with TV relationships too. Like the one thing that pulled me and still always will pull me back to the Buffy stuff is there's TV shows where you ship the couple. Like, I ship the fuck out of stuff. I'm like, I love it. Fucking big flag, pirate ship it. Great. Yeah, giant fucking pirate ship it. Even with video games.
Yep.
Like Dragon Age and stuff like that. So, like, for example, what is it? Green Arrow. They had the beginning where it's like Oliver Queen and Felicity, and before they were actually a couple, I'm like, oh my gosh, how cute, it'd be amazing, and people were shipping it, but then they got together, and I instantly lost
I actually
interest.
stopped watching Green Arrow.
I did too.
Right about that part when they started to, like, date, and I was just like, I don't like her. They wrote her differently then, all of a sudden, and she wasn't that cute, quirky. It got weird.
She was complaining about stuff. It was odd, right?
Yeah,
like,
they completely switched them.
And I get it, because maybe they're trying to, like, I think the relationship was hard to relate to, because she's sitting there, I think, and complaining about him being a vigilante and everything. Is like, well, I can't, like, I don't know how that relationship would actually work. But it's odd, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. But, like, with the Buffy relationship with her and Angel, or with my favorite, her and Spike, when they were together, when they weren't together, they were showing it differently and having the relationship being shown in a different light that I think it still holds up now, because he was essentially on the show wanting to show what a bad relationship looked like, a painful relationship, people who are using each other, to a relationship that eventually gets abusive. Like, it was interesting to see that. So, and then later in the series, you have it where there's repercussions to what happens, and you see them kind of growing as people apart and back together. Not saying they end up together, but you see that, like, you see real things happening in people. Like, his character development is really, really well. So that one always sucked me in as far as, like, a TV relationship that I think holds up. Like, watching Buffy back then and watching it now, still very enjoyable. Some of the references, you know, sometimes people might not know what they're talking about, but I think, for me, I think it holds up wonderfully. For me, because I've already seen it, it does give me that little kiss of nostalgia that I want as well. But the relationships and everything really still pull me back in, and I don't get bored when people hook up.
Yep.
And I like that it's like they hooked up, but they kind of didn't, and it was like all this turmoil versus like, oh, they hooked up and everything's happy.
Yeah.
What was that one show? The Pie Maker. And they couldn't touch each other. Pushing Daisies? Did you ever see that one?
No.
That one, I think, was only on for a season. It's very interesting. I really need to watch it, because I only had seen snippets on YouTube. I've never actually gotten to see the series. It's like Pushing Daisies. He can touch people who are dead and they come back to life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he asks them what happened and touches them again, and they go back to being dead. And then you have the girl there who he like instantly loved and didn't want to make her dead again. So like they kind of have a relationship and they couldn't like touch.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
That is actually interesting.
But I wonder with TV shows, like, they never put people together, because I wonder if people know that sometimes when you get the couples together, people will lose interest. Like, oh, no, everything's happy. There's no drama to be had.
And then I think now that you say that and point that out, that makes a ton of sense with New Girl. Because, like, Nick and Jess are extremely cute.
Yeah.
They got them together, and I was actually okay with it. And they immediately let them break up.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, what? And so now they do, like, little things where they kind of, like, make them flirt, and you're like, just get back together.
Yeah.
But they don't. But they have a really good storyline with Schmidt and Cece. So that you have...
It kind of like distracts you to go... It almost makes you
it's a good
really
balance.
root for them, and you kind of forget about them.
I still root for them, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Cece.
And like Winston and his cat, like, go Ferguson.
Fucking Fergie, yeah. I
love Winston.
He's so... I like him a lot. I really enjoy his
gotten
character.
so good with his character. They did a really good job with like... Because before he was so like... small of a role.
Yeah.
And then as they continued and Coach finally
and
left.
kind of super obscure with some of the stuff, like him being... Because they did make him weird, and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was almost like a little too much. And
sometimes.
Then,
they brought it back.
Brought him back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of TV shows do kind of go off of the relationships. But like one of the shows that I really enjoy is Elementary. And I'm not saying I want Sherlock and Watson to get together with it being Joan. Just prefer saying that. Like, it's the Elementary one. I guess if you knew the show. Like, you always kind of want that to happen, but then after a while, once that kind of fades off and you kind of realize it's not going to happen, you kind of pinpoint other things in the show you like, it has a whole different dynamic to it.
Yep.
Or like Sherlock, it was like that one girl on Sherlock and Benedict Cumberbatch's character. She like was obsessed with him, and they had a scene where he like kissed her like in a dream like thing. I don't know, it was interesting. But yeah, TV relationships usually draw me in. If there's a good storyline between two characters that I really am all about, I'll get in there. But again, it takes, I think, a couple watchings to kind of like figure out what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah. Which we were talking about, one of my favorite TV shows back when Netflix first started.
Yeah.
Man, that's old. I'm super old.
How long has it been out?
I mean, I think it started back when it was like 2009, 2010.
Remember when it was just DVDs? It was mailing in DVDs. There wasn't a streaming service.
What was that called?
Netflix?
Holy shit, it was Netflix! And then you could do the one DVD and then stream something.
Yes. Yes. So Netflix was like a mail service.
I totally did do that.
Yes, it was a mailing service. You would mail out... I don't know if you picked it. I think you picked something.
Them. You picked them online, and then they bring them to you.
One disc at a fucking time.
Yes, and remember... No, you could buy... After a while, you could buy like 2 or 3.
Okay.
It was
they
more.
Trusted you, maybe?
They're like, you now have the offer to...
But like trying to... I remember watching the whole thing of Lost like that.
Yeah.
You'd go and you get like 3 DVDs.
Oh, I'm lucky because I did not get... I finally had Netflix streaming and Lost was on there. Which... Remind me, we need to go...
the first season of that.
I'm fucking pissed at Lost.
Why?
So I watched Lost, and so my parents watched it, and they watched it week by week.
Yes.
And my dad was like, oh, my mom, everybody was like, you have to watch this, you have to watch this. And finally I was like, because streaming finally came out, and it wasn't the shitty bring a DVD and send it out.
Yeah, and you had to send it back in the mail.
And then they charge me.
Yeah, and they make you keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
I fucking bought
we are so
one
old
disc.
that Netflix was on DVD. Like, that's how fucking old we were.
So I started watching Lost.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like first season, I could not stop.
Oh,
I was like, oh my gosh, I love Kate. I love Sawyer. Oh no, now I love him. Nope, now like then you keep getting these little pieces.
Yeah.
Throughout. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? There's a polar bear randomly. There's
Smoke Monster.
Yep, Smoke Monster got a little bit like later.
But they had the mist thingy in the beginning.
They did.
It was all about the plane crash and surviving in the first season, which I really enjoyed.
Yes. And then all of a sudden
and Matthew Fox.
Yeah, he was really hot. Yeah.
Hello. Party of 5.
So you keep watching it and you're like, what is going on? And then my dad would always joke because I'm like, oh, I'm on this season. And my dad's like, is it fast forward? Like fast backward, or is it sideways? Because like the timelines are all like fucked up, so it was like always our joke that it was like where is it taking place? And then it didn't fucking answer anything. So then I start reading that they didn't even have a storyline that they were going to even continue because they didn't even think that they were going to make it past season 1.
Which makes
like,
sense,
seriously?
because season 1 was fucking solid.
Season 1 was legit. Then you got, I loved the storylines that they put of the people in their past.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, man, I really feel bad. Like, now I really like so-and-so. And
Charlie.
I really, I didn't like him, and then all of a sudden they showed his back
Didn't the
story.
boat blow up or something?
He started drowning. Like, he was like, just go, just go.
It was him and Hurley, right?
Hurley was the bigger guy, right?
I know, but I don't know why Charlie.
No, it was. I think Sawyer was in there.
No,
they were down. They went down under
Desmond, maybe. I'm like trying to remember these. I think
all I can remember is his face in the little bubble.
Yes.
And he's like, just go, just go.
And
then you're like bawling your eyes out.
Yeah.
I didn't like the.
I don't think I finished it. I know what happens because everyone was like pissed off and the internet went crazy. But like I don't know.
The thing is you with that one you really do have to watch it, and I actually would tell people, like I'm still telling people, like you should watch it. Like it's weird and you don't understand it because you miss so many different things. That you get to the point where you watch it and then you're like, I don't know what I just fucking watched, but now I have like a shit ton of emotions floating around.
Yeah. No, that one was an interesting one, and I think when they got to the end and they were like you have all these people like having an idea of what they thought it was or interpreting, which I do like that people were interpreting it differently.
Yeah.
So you can kind of like pick it up.
Well, I heard, the only one that I heard was that they thought it was like purgatory and now they're going to like heaven.
Yeah, that's the one I was hearing too. But so it's like knowing that and then going back and rewatching it, would it change the experience? Because I don't know, because season 1 was pretty awesome.
It was still a great TV series. The other TV series that I absolutely loved, which I was going to say that I started watching, was Eureka.
Oh,
and first with him just driving into the town with the girl in the back, and you find out that his daughter.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing like all these cool things, like, and it was great because each episode was something different. Like they would create something, and they're crazy mad scientists, and then they have to go and fix it. I liked the premise
of that show.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool and something different.
Yep. And then there are little relationships that are in there, like the mayor and her ex-husband.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, put on a suit. That guy is so hot. I don't even know who he is.
I don't think I ended up
the sheriff was good looking.
Yeah, I don't think I ended up getting into Rika until you were telling me about it, and then I was going through it, and then got to the episode where Zane was, and then I did what I did with Spike, and I'm like, just like zoomed in. I'm like, I care about this character only, and I'm gonna watch this for this character only.
Yeah.
And then I get through that, and I was like, I need to go back and actually watch it because I missed everything. Unless, like, if you want to ask me about, like, with the Buffy, to put it in perspective, like, if you want to ask me about Buffy and Spike, I know that. But if you want to quiz me on like the whole show, I might have skipped an episode or two because if it didn't have Spike in it, I'm like, it's fine. So that's the thing. I kind of go back and like force myself to see everything.
Have you noticed with TV shows, and this has happened to me now that I'm talking about it 3 times that I can think of currently, is you have a character, they start. So for example, we've got Supernatural. We got Sam and Dean.
Yes.
Which I fucking love Dean. Mm-hmm. And I like, again, as I've mentioned, I feel like he smells like leather and bourbon. Oh, yeah. Why? I don't know. He's just hot. I would love to meet him someday and just drool over him. I'd be like you, like...
Just not say anything. Hi. Hi. There's an episode where his wife's in there.
Yeah, him and Sam's wife. Actually, they actually are in there a couple of times.
Well, his wife, they met that way. She's that demon.
I thought they were married before that.
No, I think they got married after. I think they met.
Oh, I didn't know that. But, so what I'm saying is, when you first watch the first seasons, and you watch them, they look like, well, Dean kind of looks like himself.
They look like a baby.
Yeah, they look like themselves. Like a little baby. And then all of a sudden, season 4 comes, and you're like, damn!
That's the Angels one, right? Angels and God. Because that's the thing. I was trying to watch through them.
Because they're using Sam as a
The first couple seasons
vessel.
were fucking scary.
They're very scary, and I liked how they were all their own separate things, but an underlining story underneath.
Yeah, I do like the Angel arc, but I think I was trying to watch that, trying to force myself to go slow, but then I was like, it's not going to work, and I went right to that season of the Angels in Castiel, and then I was like sucked in. Yeah. But then after that was done, I fizzled out, and I haven't seen whatever 12, 13 episodes or seasons are on now. Yeah.
Yeah, season 13 right now is on Netflix. And they're doing season 14 right now.
Did they do the spinoff with the girls yet? Because they were going to do like Winchester Girls or something.
Oh, I don't think so. Oh. But yeah, he's like freaking yoked.
Yeah.
Oh, like all of a sudden it just like, and so I was watching Vampire Diaries and her brother Jeremy. Spurt. But it's just so ridiculous because all of a sudden you're like, it's like
he's a boy, he's a man.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I don't like Zane Sam. And then all of a sudden it's like, damn, like him taking his shirt off.
Yeah, someone fucking bulked. Yeah, no.
And then Zane did that.
Zane was very noticeable.
Yeah, because all of a sudden he was like tiny, and then all of a sudden the next episode I'm like,
what?
What is that shirt you're wearing? Like, take it off.
Honestly, like if you go back through and you kind of watch episode by episode, you kind of see you kind of see it. You kind of see him bulking up, but like when you jump from season 3 to 4, you're like, what the fuck? Hold on, let me go back. Like, what happened?
It happens to Vampire Diaries. Her brother,
yeah,
he's like this puny little. I mean, he's got a decent like build,
but like a teenage. Like
he's like a little boy.
Like a little, not a little boy.
Well,
but
okay,
like,
yeah. He's like a 16, 17-year-old kid, and then all of a sudden, like at season 2 or 3, all of a sudden you're like, shit,
yeah,
what happened? I'm like, does he have a neck anymore?
Yeah,
he's just
does.
like.
Oh my god, it's crazy. But you're watching, like, especially people are like doing 13 seasons. Like, you're seeing these people grow up. You're seeing them age. That's the one thing that I have to give kudos to for Buffy is, I mean, looking at Spike, his prime for me. Ooh, season 5. Ugh. But seeing him from season 2 to season 7, like, as far as playing a ageless vampire, did a fantastic job.
Really?
I think he started the show when he was 38.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. He was like 38 at season 2. I was like, hello. Hello. Ugh, smoking hottie.
Let's get a fan over here.
I know, funny. I'll tell you a little back and forth between my husband, which was hilarious. So he comes home, he sees me watching Buffy, and he tries to like sit down and watch it with me, but he falls asleep every time. Well, and then I'm like waking him up. I'm like, it's season 2. Like, it's school hard. It's the episode Spike shows up. He's like, Rrr. So he falls asleep. And I always joke with him that I have 2 husbands, him and Zachary Levi. Because I'm like, oh, I don't have to switch my last name. It's already like Levi, fine, it's great. So technically my husband is Mark and then Shazam. And he's like, well, we were watching Buffy again. I was like, oh man, I'm like, I have 3. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I had a cardboard cutout of Spike. I think he was probably like my first love. Like, I think really that was like,
I forgot that your cardboard cutout came out here.
I did. I had that.
My favorite is still that you got his head chopped off almost
on the ceiling. There's a picture somewhere of me being funny with that little guy. But so, and I was telling him, I was like, I have 3 husbands, Spike, you, and Zach. And he's like, well, and then he was like, well, what's the order? And I was like, well, obviously you first. I'm like, but I think, because I love Zachary Levi, but then I was like, oh man, like, I think Spike's like, he's my dude. So I was pushing him down into, like, so Spike would be second. But then I was telling Mark, I was like, well, maybe Spike should be first because he was like before you. I was like, he's kind of like the first one. But not like James Marsters. I mean the actual Spike. The one that would kill you. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I was like, not the actor, the actual character.
Can we talk about real quick, because you just said he's going to kill you. I just was watching Vampire Diaries, and Stefan and Elena are just sprouting their relationship. Again, you should definitely watch it, because it's very well done. But they finally got to the point where they slept together, and you're like, and then it brought me to Twilight, and I'm like, both of them, like, because they're making out, and the way that they have their vampires, they do it really well. Their eyes kind of get bloodshot, and then they have these little, like, lines that go out here, and then it stops, and then obviously their fangs. And so she's like, because he turns away from her. Obviously, they always turn away. The vampire guy turns away because he's like, I don't want to kill you. And then she's like, no, like, it's fine. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with this chick? She's like, no, it's okay. You can maul me. Like, and now I'm like, well, I kind of want a guy to maul me.
Technically, but here's the thing. Technically, it shouldn't even work. Because
correct. I'm like, is it dead? It's dead. There's no blood flow.
There's no blood flow. Yeah.
I'm like, so then I was thinking, did they die with a heart on?
No, maybe.
And then I started getting into this really weird realm, and I'm like, I'm done.
I don't know. It's
I don't know. They do bleed. Vampires do bleed. They got shot in this one, and they kept bleeding. But they can heal really fast.
I don't know. I think it depends on the lore. But, yeah, no, it's interesting. They had that with Spike and Buffy, which I liked showing, like, because with that situation with the relationship, her and Angel was actually her first. And when they sleep together, he loses his soul. And so, like, the next day, he likes to fuck with his victims. Like, mind fuck them, just ruin their lives.
Angel or Spike?
Angel. Angel's
Really?
fucking evil as shit, man.
I don't
Like,
remember
Spike
this.
tortures people with railroad spikes. That's why he got his name. And he's evil, but, like, it's just, when you really think about it, like, Angel's fucking awful. So, like, when you go through and you meet the three of them, so it's Angel or Angelus, Spike and Drusilla. Spike and Drusilla are a couple, and they talk about how much, like, even without a soul, that they do love each other. And I love how they play the characters off. But when you find out that Angel had made Drusilla, the first thing he did is he killed her whole family, and he drove her insane. And then she went to go and become a nun, and the day that she became a nun, he turned her into a demon. Like, he fucking ruins you as a person. So when he turns evil, which I liked that they put it right after they had sex, because it's the moment that he had a moment of happiness. Not necessarily orgasm, but, like, just sitting there with her, sleeping next to him, and he's like, oh, my life's not that bad. He loses his soul. So like, afterwards, she's
Which
like,
is a sign to tell children, do not have sex because you'll lose your soul.
well, that, or it's like, it shows you how some guys are a certain
change.
way, and then they change. So, like, she comes up and he's acting all different. He's like, hey, he's like, he was just, I don't remember some of the shit he was saying. She starts crying. She's like, well, was I bad? And he's like, well, you're all right. Like, he was just completely, and you just see her crying, and this is a girl who, like, just shared that with somebody.
Yeah.
Versus, like, with her and Spike, it's a great foreshadowing, because they fucking destroy a house. And it's like a foreshadowing of their relationship, that it's just, there's no foundation to it, and that it's a fucking shit show. Like, it's really cool to see and, like, kind of go through the nuances of it. But yeah, I'm excited. I really need to, like, go through it again, restart it again. Not necessarily season 1, because I actually sat through it. But I do want to see, if Farscape holds up, which, if you haven't seen it, it's super fun.
Yeah, I haven't actually. I've seen it on Netflix, I think. Is it on Netflix?
I think it might have been. I don't know if it still is. But Ben Browner, sexy.
Really?
Yeah, he gets leather pants in, like, season 3 or 4. I'm like, what?
Those leather pants.
And I liked the whole, it was the first time that I actually got into, like, a sci-fi. Because everything else was kind of vampire or kind of set in the world. And then this was, like, outer world out. You had aliens, and it had, like, that, because it was a Muppets. Who does the Muppets?
Wait, what?
Who does the Muppets?
So I Jim Henson.
Yeah, it's
but
like Muppets. It's a Jim Henson's production.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here making like talkie sounds with my face or with my mouth or my hand.
With your hand.
Yeah.
No. So we were like, again, you didn't preface that you were wanting to see what other TV shows that you'd want to rewatch.
Yeah.
You just started going into Farscape. So then my brain got into this downward spiral of Blue Mountain State, and then but then I was like, no, because when I started rewatching Blue Mountain State, it didn't hold up as well.
Oh, shame.
Because I was like, oh man, it's not as funny, or the person maybe I was watching it with wasn't as funny to them, so then they just kind of like killed it.
That's what.
And then you asked me a question,
that.
and then I was like, huh?
God, yeah. I saw
I was
your
gonna say
face,
Jim
you were
Henson.
No,
I saw your face. You were lost.
Yeah, I could see you were done. Yeah, Blue Mountain State.
I was thinking of him as a goat and like the guy like masturbating in the goat suit, and then I got to Thad screaming, and then you asked me a question. Thank God I didn't go, get out of my house!
So we were talking about how I would daydream about watching something. You just literally daydreamed about Blue Mountain State, which we watched and it was always funny. But then every time I showed anyone else, they're like, I don't get it. I'm like, what? Like,
yeah,
no
how
one
did he
else.
not? He put an Oreo cookie up his butt.
He did.
And he ate it.
Yeah, he did. So bad. No. So I was saying, like, I did actually segue in, mind you, because I said, oh yeah, it makes me wonder what else has
can hold up.
Yeah, fucking segued. Boom. And then I said Farscape, and you were just dead inside. Farscape. I want to see how that holds up.
Well, I saw like Farscape, the logo on Netflix, like because I remember I saw it.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden I saw Blue Mountain State.
So you were literally going through your
Netflix.
memories of you going down and picking Blue Mountain State. That's what you fucking did.
That was gross.
You just went through and remembered the deja vu of that.
Oh, inner workings of the mind.
Farscape, Battlestar Galactica was amazing.
New Girl is what I put down, and Star Trek you put down.
Yeah, we got through. It's hard to get through some of the originals. We were starting to get through Next Gen. And I do like, they actually do have a wonderful story, and I do like that. I know we went through Deep Space Nine once. I probably have to go through it again. And I don't remember what the one is when it's, oh shit. What is the one when it's Janeway? It's like the female captain, and I can't remember what that one's called. No, not Journey. Shit. We need a fact checker.
Mark?
Yeah, he's gonna listen to this going, are you fucking kidding me? He's gonna be screaming the title, like, through.
Please message me on Facebook so that
Next gen is Picard, and then you have her, you have Deep Space Nine. Fuck my life. You have Archer, who is...
No.
Lana! Not that Archer. That's how we get ants. Shit, yeah, so I gotta rewatch Star Trek.
Actually, I would love to rewatch Archer.
God, it's been forever.
You and I watched it because
I think it only had 2 seasons.
There was only 1 season. I was still living on that house on Stapley on University, and I went to start watching it, and I was like, this is retarded. And then all of a sudden I went and got like a Captain and Coke, drank it, made another one, sat down, and I was like, that's how you get ants! I'm like, oh my god, that's the other shade of black. Remember, because of his sweater popping?
That reminds me.
He's like, no, I'm down 1 shade of black sweater.
The other thing that reminds me, as far as like nostalgia and finding stuff to watch, there's Archer, but have you ever watched C-Lab 2021?
I think I've seen a couple of them, but not all of it.
There's like Captain Murphy, and he said like the weird... Charlie Murphy. The captain would say like the weirdest shit. I remember that.
He would come in and I think it's the one where he comes in and he's like, sex.
Maybe.
Doesn't he?
I don't remember. There was like, I remember some of it, but yeah, C-Lab 2021. Yeah, I gotta look through older stuff.
I tried talking to somebody this weekend about Charlie Murphy's, our restaurant.
Oh yeah?
For ramen.
I just laugh so hard and they just look at me like I'm a fucking psycho.
I did the same thing and I'm like, but the ramen, you
dump it.
And they were like...
I did talk to someone about the blizzard and flipping it, and she's like, oh, I hate when they do that. I said so there's like a mutual thing with that, but then I start talking about the ramen, and then they just like blank out like, what the fuck?
If we do a YouTube clip,
follow me there.
If we do a YouTube clip and we can actually show somebody,
I think that's a good thing with us is like we switch topics, obviously, and then we'll swing back around, but we pull each other and we follow each other to it. Yeah. Versus any other conversation with someone else. You're like, I'm here, but I'm going here. And they go, how did your brain get there? And you're like, what the fuck? Seriously? Like, we just did a whole fucking toilet swirl of Vampire Diaries and fucking Lost Boys again. A toilet swirl. I know. I don't know why I come up with
sitting
these.
on turds. Like, come on, Bridget!
We're sitting on poops. In a toilet?
But the poops have like rain
saddles.
Yeah.
I totally no, but you're doing it like Dr. No? Like when he's on the fucking. I know what you're painting. I know a fucking picture you're painting. Okay, if you watch Community, you need to watch Community because there's 2 characters called Troy and Abed, and it's fucking us.
Really?
There's a part where they're talking.
I only watch Scrubs because Turk
and JD is as well. Oh, and I saw Teen Titans and fucking Cyborg and Beast Boy are us.
We are. Okay, which one are you?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I feel like we switch roles quite a bit.
But I feel like I can be Beast Boy a lot and then also Cyborg. Have you seen
because they had fart jokes and everything else. Fuck, that was so funny.
They are hilarious. There's this one episode of Teen Titans and I thought of you. Yeah. Because I was like, oh my gosh. So they were like best friends and they like finish each other's sentences and they're like, we're going to play video games, and then and then like they sit down and they're like, and then we're gonna have the best food ever, which is, and then Beast Boy says hamburgers, and Cyborg says waffles? Burritos, and they were like, what? And they fight throughout the whole episode of which is better, burgers or burritos. Oh, that's hard. And then all of a sudden at the end, like they make these big monsters. One's a burger, one's a burrito. And they get like they're like
Godzilla style or like
Godzilla style.
Okay.
And so they're like. Da, 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 and then they'll like say a thing and he'll do like a burritos
so
machine
it's like Godzilla
gun.
Of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like they're doing that and all of a sudden they like run into each other. Yeah. And it makes like a burger burrito.
Oh, that sounds amazing right now.
I was like,
a burger burrito?
This is definitely Bridget and me.
What did I fucking have that kind of reminded me of that?
You have the burger sub that you brought up.
Fucking Pudgy Burger. Oh, it's so good. No, so I was watching Community and there was this episode where they build this fort. Hence me building a fort last night. So they built this fucking amazing fort, and then it ended up everyone was like loving it. So they're like, we have to pull the plug. Like, it's too trendy now. So they pull the plug, and they stand back up, and the guy looks at him and he goes, "Do you want to build a cardboard submarine?" And the other one, his answer, he just looked over him. He's like, "Get out of my head!" "You want to build a submarine? Get out of my head!" So it reminds me of that, like of us. And they were also trying to like make it was like they have all these snippets at the end of each episode. I'm like, fuck, it's us. And there was a snippet where they were doing one word and like making a story. And they were talking about, it was like, once upon a time there was aliens. And then Troy's like, and Abad's like, monsters. And romance. And they go through this whole thing, and Troy's like, we should make a script together. It's so funny. But yeah, I would watch Community or like YouTube Troy and Ahmed, because it's just us. I'm like going through it. I'm like,
we're gonna have to watch it.
I'm like, how is this happening right now? They also had an episode where they both liked the same person, and she ended up picking one of the guys, and the guy's like dancing with her, and he's like, can you tell me why you don't like my friend? And she's like, he's just kind of weird. And then he ends up finding Ahmed, and he's just like, she's weird. And they just hug each other. And he's like, it's okay. We'll find someone for us. And she walks by, and Troy's like, just ignore her. It was just funny. And it just reminds me of us. I'm like, oh my God. Ridiculous.
I feel like that would be how I would be with you too. Be like, wait, why don't you like Bridget?
Yeah, why?
She's not cool. You're not cool. Bye.
That's what they did. She was like, he just wanted to talk about the Saw movies for 2 hours. And he's like, well, there's 6 Saw movies, they're each 2 hours long. Like, it makes sense that he would take 2 hours to talk about a Saw movie. She's like, are we really talking about this right now? And then she's like, yeah, he's weird. And he's like, we're done. Because she called his friend weird. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh man, that is awesome. See, now I need to put Community on mine.
That's a good one to kind of just like...
Isn't the one with, what's his name?
Chevy Chase?
Yeah.
See how I knew that? That's what you're going
right?
Well, you know that, is it the one with that person? Yep. I know exactly who you're thinking.
we just pictured ourselves riding turds down a toilet going like this.
As soon as
but like
you
the
said
fake
it.
one, it's like the toilet and it's like flushing.
Yes.
But like we are just like...
Do you know, fun fact, in Japan there is a toilet museum and you flush yourself to get in. Like you go down this like giant toilet and they give you emoji poop hats to wear. And at the end there's like toilet singing.
I want to go.
I found it on YouTube, and I really want to go next month.
Speaking of Japanese, or just, I don't know if it's Japanese
noodles.
Nudes.
I know.
I love nudes. So
noodles. Don't leave it with nudes.
No.
Because you just said I love nudes, like old noodles.
Noodles. No, so at work, somebody was like talking, and they said something, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll totally send a bunch of nudes, like buttered bow ties.
You're like me because you shorten it. Because you're like, hey, do you want coffee? I'm like, I could totally go for some cough. Like, it makes no fucking sense. Or like, oh, do you want to go for breakfast? I'm like, yeah, I'm totally down for some brekkie. Like, I don't know why I cut it even shorter than it needs to be, but I was like, fuck it, it's fine.
Nudes.
Yeah.
Brekkie.
Like, I'm like, noodles.
Brekkie's
You're like,
cool.
love some nudes. Like, yeah, no. So you do the same thing. You cut it shorter.
Yep. And then people just look at me and I'm like, all right, I'll go hang over here. But what were we talking about? Now I want noodles.
I know I want to.
Oh, Japanese.
Okay, Japanese noodles.
So we got this. So they have those Japanese shows.
Charlie Murphy, sorry.
Ramen noodles from Charlie Murphy.
It was stuck. Like I had to say it, or else I wouldn't have been able to like live with myself. It was like what's it called?
Regurgitation.
No, not puking. Tourette's. It's like, oh, Charlie Murphy. Like I had, like, did you see me? Like I was like, grabbed my chair, tensed up, and had to scream Charlie Murphy.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like, what is it? Like if someone's saying, you too, and you're walking away, you're like, yeah, like you have to like finish it. Like, all right, bye, you too, bye. Like just something weird. That's how it felt.
My favorite is when people are always like, oh, have a good, or enjoy your lunch. And then you're like, yeah, you too. But it's like the waiter, and then you're like, oh, you're probably not even eating. Like...
But you like halfway stop saying, you're like, you too.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. Or you go, you too, and then instant
like,
regret.
And you turn really fast and you walk out. And you're like,
you're getting your food. Enjoy your meal. You too. Fuck. Okay, why did I fuck this up? They do that to me on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
Like when I'm talking to someone, I'm like, all right, have a wonderful week and we'll see you soon. You too. I'm like, yeah. By the way, if you don't know this about me, if anyone doesn't know this about me, I'm so weird on the phone. Not like on it.
I'm really awkward on the phone.
Not on it, but when I'm getting off the phone.
Me too.
To the
How
point,
do you end it? It's the same with this podcast. How do you end this podcast?
Here's my technique, and this is, we can't do this in podcast, but this is what I do on the phone with, especially with clients, and I don't mean to. I'm already pulling the phone away from my face, so if you're still talking, I can't hear what you're saying. I'm like, okay, bye, and I'm like hanging up on you. Like I don't like sit and have it up to my ear and hold on to that thing. Like when I've said bye the first time, I start pulling it away from my face, and I've had people still talking, and I don't know what they're saying. And I'm just like, hey, I've done that to my mom too. Like it's just like, I don't know. Cause you know how sometimes it carries on?
Yeah.
Or they're trying to say, have a wonderful week. And I'm like, yep. I'm like hanging up. It's weird. I don't know how to, and I feel bad when I do it. Cause I'm like, I hope it wasn't something important. Like they go, oh, last minute. Like, oh, I need to tell you this. And I'm like, bye.
Bye. So I always say that too. I'm like, oh yeah, bye-bye. Or I'm like, bye.
Bye.
And then all of a sudden this guy that's across from like 2 rows down from where I work.
Who start mimicking you?
Yeah, all of a sudden you hear him go, bye-bye. I'm like, shut the fuck, damn it.
It depends on who I'm with because I have rituals on the phone. So like my buddy John, we know to cut things short because sometimes you'll know if someone wants to get off the phone. You're like, all right, cool, talk to you later. And he'll be, every time, he's always like in the middle of like starting a new sentence. And then I kind of cut him off, don't mean to. And they're like, cool, yeah, talk to you later. He's like, oh, okay, so there's a little bit of a muffle. But we always end off with, bye. Like we just do a bye, like a high-pitched bye, and we're good. But yeah, other times if it's people I don't really know, I'm like half already, like it's already away, like a good, how many feet away is this?
That's a good a foot and a half.
It's like a foot and a half away from my face when I'm saying goodbye. So if you're still talking, I can't hear you because you're not on speaker. So I don't know if I come off as rude, but I do that. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just done. I'm like, and I'll sit for a second to hear if they're talking. And then like, beep. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. How do you end the podcast? Do we have to right now?
No.
Oh my god, it's already been an hour.
I want to say one thing though about the Japanese game shows.
Okay, sorry.
Because you were talking about toilets. Have you seen the Japanese game shows where they have the people go into the porta potties?
No.
Oh gosh. So I'm going to show you, and that's probably how we're going to end this, is I'm just going to tell everybody that they need to leave, because I'm going to show Bridget this, because this is hilarious.
They don't leave. We just turn off.
They don't know that.
We want everyone to leave so we can show each other YouTube videos. So after our podcast's done, we do about an hour of recording, hour and a half, and then we spend the next 30 to 45 minutes just looking at YouTube videos. Yay!
We also were thinking about, or I was, the internet lies, but we don't.
Oh, yeah.
So I was going to have it where we were actually going to find things that are really just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And see if I read one, you let me know if you think it's
True
an internet
or
lie or, yeah.
Yeah.
And then vice versa.
Oh, that's going to be hard. That's going to be really difficult because some of the shit that you would expect and hope that's fake is real. And then you're like, oh my god, what kind of world do I live in?
Yeah. Have you ever read the rules from like other states? Like in like the podunk states,
some of them, yeah.
They're like you can't get married to your ex-cousin, da da da, like all this crazy
taking like blood
shit.
tests and stuff.
I'm like, what? That's a real thing? But yes, I'm gonna show you these Japanese game shows. So, quick shout out for any reviews, TV, comic books. I got a couple of them up there. Actually. There is a couple of comic books that I've actually read in the last little bit. I think I told you about
in
Malicious.
Between your binges?
In between my TV binges and my audiobooks that I've been listening to. So I've been busy. There was actually Stellar.
I have a hard time doing that. I could just like deep dive into one and ignore the world.
Yeah.
Like I haven't made
sometimes
any...
I wish that because I feel like I don't finish
I think
completely.
I haven't even touched Harry Potter since the last time we spoke. Because I just went Buffy. And just dove in.
Sometimes, because like if I'm too lazy to go downstairs and watch TV, I'll just sit and read.
Yeah.
Or I'll listen to something, or So that's usually how I change things. But yeah, there's a couple of reviews that I've actually done. Go to wordofthenerd.com. And then, do you have?
I actually do, because I wanted to talk about the Teen Titans movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. We went and saw it a couple days ago.
See Teen Titans.
It was done really, really well. I think we're very few of the adults that were actually in there. But it was done really well. It was super cute. I had a ton of fun. And Robin's catchphrase, what was it?
Oh, God.
His catchphrase is, crack an egg on it. Caw-caw! It was a lot of fun. So I would say, as far as like a shout out recommendation, go see the Teen Titan movie. It was really fun. I can't wait to own it. It was just, yeah, if you want a good laugh and you don't want something so intense like Mission Impossible, Teen Titans is where you need to go.
Perfect.
Yep.
And then we're going to go to
YouTube. Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes.
I really want to see it. So we're planning our date now. So yay.
All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I guess it's Sunday. So whatever. Sorry, guys. Gotta go to work tomorrow.
Have a great rest of your fucking week. Yeah. Don't, just because it's a week doesn't mean you can't have fun. We're gonna plan a date.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Fucking
so we're gonna go to a movie. So you guys always remember to geek responsibly.